Hey, this is Jen Johans at filmintuition.com and Film Intuition on social media and Letterboxd. And this is Watch with Jen. Welcome to the 7th season of Watch with Jen. This is the first episode of 2026, and we're kicking things off with author Duane Swierczynski. Duane Swierczynski is the New York Times bestselling and two-time Edgar-nominated author of 11 novels, including California Bear, which he's adapting for 20th Century Studios, as well as the graphic novels Dead Flowers and Breakneck. His first short story collection, Lush and Other Tales of Boozy Mayhem, was recently published by Cimarron Street Books. A native Philadelphian, Duane lives in Pasadena, California, and you can learn more at gleefulmayhem.com. Well, Duane Swierczynski is a wonderful writer, and he has a brand new graphic novel out with Storm King Comics, which kind of ties into what we're talking about today. So we'll get into that. But Duane, how are you doing?
I'm great. And Jen, thank you for having me back on the show. This is
Always.
Fantastic. This is a blast. And I'm happy to be talking about, John Carpenter, or JC, as we all call him, the other JC.
Yeah, the other JC. Yes,
Exactly.
Exactly. And we were originally going to talk about Elmore Leonard, who we both love. But the problem with Elmore is nobody can really adapt his stuff super well. It's been done. I mean, we have Get Shorty, we have Out of Sight, Jackie Brown,
Yes.
Justified, of course, but those are the exceptions. And then we have a bunch of stuff that's like, what
That's
are
true.
they thinking? So
That's true.
we kind of dove in, watched some of the, lesser known or stuff that we had not seen, and didn't have a lot to say. I was joking with Duane that we would probably both jump on and start laughing when we brought up one or two, and it'd be the shortest podcast ever. So I thought, you know what? What's better than somebody who collaborates with Carpenter, somebody who plays piano.
Oh,
And
true.
I just thought this is perfect. So thank you so much for doing this and your willingness to be flexible.
Of course. No, this is great. Hey, any chance to talk about John Carpenter stuff? Actually, it's a treat to talk about John Carpenter in February, because it's usually it's October. Halloween time is when everyone, thinks about Carpenter's films. Now it's I think he's for year round myself, but it's nice to talk about the stuff and not in October, not Halloween season.
I'm always excited too. I mean, I love talking to you about anything, of course, but what's great about John Carpenter is I'm trying to branch out. I am not too well versed in horror.
Okay.
I can't do a lot of super gory stuff. So
Sure. Yeah.
my friend Elizabeth Cantwell, she, we did The Thing, and we did episodes on haunted house movies and Final Girl, and we had a blast. And I did one with my buddy Scott Weinberg on horror, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm trying to branch out because I know my audiences love it, and I found some stuff I really dug that I wasn't expecting to.
That's great.
The Fly, which was great, and
the Jeff Goldblum Fly.
The Goldblum, yes. Which that's about as body horror is not my thing either, but that was good.
It's pretty intense. Actually, I'm Gold Star. That's pretty intense. That one grosses me out to this day.
Yeah, that one is a little intense. Black Christmas is one I think I discovered through the podcast.
Yes.
Loved that.
Great movie.
And so, I was really excited. We just did an episode on Stephen King a few months ago with Sean Cosby and William Boyle.
Right.
And that was a lot of fun. And we talked about they were referencing other films and stuff, The Dark Half. And I was getting that confused with In the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter. And I realized when you chose these movies, I had not seen any of them. So I think you did a really good job here, Duane.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. And it's funny, but horror, it's you can find your flavor of horror, just mystery and crime fiction covers all the gamut, from cozy to hard-boiled to whatever. Horror goes from, sort of cozy ghost stories or sort of gentle horror to extreme gore fest, and I love the depth of the genre. It's just so much fun. You can find your place in it, and one funny thing is, I'm not sure if you agree with this, is I've heard once, this is to me a great take on why people like horror and some hate it, is that if watching a horror movie makes you more anxious, then it's not for you. it actually gives you a sense of like
Oh,
calm and like you feel like, I mean, for me, it's the opposite. I feel like better about life. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
it's also a safe way to handle real life horrors. It's like, I feel reassured by horror, but
Yeah.
that's not everybody. Some people are seriously snapped out by it, and that's okay too. It's not for them. But, I find
Yeah.
tremendous, sort of comfort in horror for some reason.
That's true. I have friends who talk about it being like a weirdly relaxing thing or after,
Yeah.
like Priscilla Page is one who really, I think you do, you kind of go through something with the character. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to find, as you said, that sweet spot between, like I
Yeah.
watched, Twin Peaks as a girl because my mom is like a mystery,
Oh yeah.
lover. And so I was in grade school watching
Mhm.
along with her. She's like taking notes on everything and trying to solve it. Had nightmares as soon as, the ceiling fan and when Bob comes over the couch, which
Oh
is the
yeah.
scariest fucking thing ever still.
Yes.
And so the happy medium, or you have to be in the middle there. Like, I want to solve this case. I want to, help Laura Palmer's murder get avenged or help Dale Cooper or help any of
Yes.
these people. But yes, you got to kind of walk that line of, am I going to sleep? And so I was joking with Duane that
Right.
if he was going to receive some like frantic 3 a.m. Text messages from me, like, what the hell did you have me watch? Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad they come to that. I'm glad. Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
these movies, we'll get into this as we talk about them. Like some of them, it kind of leaves you with your worldview sort of twisted. It's like, oh God, is this reality? And you have to walk outside in the sunshine. Like, okay, no, it's fine. We're okay. You're on a journey, and the other side of that journey to me feels good. Like it's okay. Things are good. The world's going to hell, but at least not going to hell in a John Carpenter way, which is
Yeah.
much more terrifying. Well, maybe not. Actually, I prefer a John Carpenter horror world than the world we're in right now, but that's another point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he would too. And, some
Yes.
of these movies are really prophetic.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
allegories for things. He's a huge Western fan, a
Oh,
huge,
yeah.
yeah, Hawks guy, and Ford, of course, and
Yes.
also just loves genre. He loves horror, Westerns, sci-fi, and kind of
Crime even?
incorporates all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you say?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
And crime as well. I mean,
Yes.
all these movies, Assault on Precinct 13 is amazing. It's a brilliant, like
Oh my God.
almost an urban Western. It's great, but it's,
It's Rio Bravo,
oh,
basically.
it
Yeah.
is. It's so wonderful. Yeah. I mean, what's funny about Carpenter is, I mean, I've loved him since I was literally a kid when I saw Halloween on network TV of all places as like a kid. And as like, over the years, I revisit his work and every year I feel like every time I kind of go through it, I find a new favorite. Like one speaks to me more than others for some reason. It's just so funny how like as I grow, those movies speak to me in a different level as I get older.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, the first movie we're going to discuss, The Fog, if you don't mind, sorry, spoiling it, but it's like,
No.
as a kid, it was like, oh, this is slow, man. This is like, and now it's like the most, mesmerizing thing I've ever seen. It's like you adapt to those movies, I think, as you go through life.
Yes, absolutely. I think the first one I ever saw was probably Christine,
Oh,
which was my
yeah.
first Stephen King book I ever read.
Oh,
So that
wow.
was middle schoolish. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was my first for that. And then high school, my friend Chris, he was the other film critic for high school paper. He was a horror obsessive, so he was always like, giving me tapes and stuff. But sometimes I did not watch and just returned them.
Right.
But I did watch Halloween, of course, and that was great. My
Yeah.
brother was more obsessed with the Friday the 13th movie, so I don't think
Mm,
we watched the sequels really.
right.
But yeah, and then, started to branch out. I'd have to thank
Yeah.
Criterion the last several years because like I saw Starman and some of these other ones
Oh,
that I
yeah.
had not, yeah, Precinct
That's
13.
right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, so some
Great
of these
range.
I had not, yeah, seen. Like Escape from New York, I think I had seen. I
Right.
definitely saw Escape from LA. It was around the time I worked in the movie theater very briefly.
That's
Um,
funny.
but yeah, so
Yes.
what was, as far as you collaborating and working with Sandy King, his wife, and the
Mhm.
comic books, how did all of that come to be? Did you know the Carpenters like before this?
Oh no, it's a funny story. I have a good friend of mine, a fellow writer, named David J. Scow. He's kind of known in horror circles, but also known in the film world. He co-wrote The Crow,
Oh, okay.
the Brandon Lee Crow back in
Yeah.
the day. And, I was actually, crashing in it. Before I moved to LA, I crashed at his house for a couple of days while I was having meetings and things. And he said, hey, you know this comic stuff, Duane. I have a meeting with Sandy King this afternoon. Can you come with me and like we can talk? I mean, he want to make my help as far as how to do a comic book script versus, film, TV stuff. And it was so great that I went to that meeting with David, and before I knew it, I left with an assignment from Sandy. Like, that's how cool she is. He's like, no, you do one too then. It's fine. Like, she's so laid back, yet I mean, her taste is like, she has great taste, and myself excluded. I'm saying it's like she has, great story sense and loves getting into it and not heavy hand with things. Like, just when she has an idea she likes, she's like, go run with it. So, that started a run of like, I think for 10 years in a row, both David and I had short comic stories in their anthology called Tales for a Halloween Night, like for the first 10 years. And that's how I got to know Sandy and her husband, John. They do a signing every year at Golden Apple Comics on Melrose in LA. And so every year I had this crazy thing where, I'm at a signing with John Carpenter down the table. How's that? I mean, my mind was blown. Like, how's this reality? Because this is real. And they're lovely people. I mean, Sandy's great. John's great. And they're all just lovely, lovely people who are so supportive of us weirdos. It feels like an odd family that they've kind of gathered to do these comics. So beyond that, the shorts, I did a few like graphic novels, and Dead Flowers is the fourth like graphic novel with them. And I've had a blast.
Which is brand new out.
Brand new,
I started reading it, and it's great. It's gripping. I want to know what's going to happen.
Sure.
Yes,
good.
I know. We have a mystery in the past, and we're on a tour with these, crime tour in Hollywood, so I love the whole thing. So Dead Flowers is out. I'd encourage everybody to get that. I know you've been writing comics forever. Had you been doing it for a long time before you first met Sandy?
Oh yeah, but I guess by the time I did that, it was a few years into my comics career. I mean, I started back in 2007 for Marvel, way back when. And these days, actually, I really don't do much in that space, just because it's sort of, it can be a grind, the whole monthly thing. But I kind of want to focus on other things. But Dead Flowers was, it was like the first time I've written a comic where it was not like single issues, because usually, you have to write 4 or 5 issues and you gather them into a trade collection. And what makes this different for me, was really enjoyable, was I could pace it as I wanted to. Because normally, 5 issues of comic, every 20 pages, you need a big cliffhanger for the next issue. And so it artificially kind of gives you a structure that you have to sort of figure out. This, though, I kind of varied. I did it like a book, like chapters. And I had some short chapters, some longer stretches, just for pace. And it felt like I was following a natural rhythm rather than, the market rhythm, right, of these issues. So that was a blast. I spent, I'm working on this for 3 or 4 years now, and I read the script and rewrote the script. Artist Andrea Moody, who's awesome, he kind of did his pay. We just kind of went through it leisurely, and it was kind of nice.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, no, not at all. Please
when
do.
I started reading Dead Flowers, I was loving some of the reactions or the reaction shots. The art of people kind of commenting. And how do you know what's going into every frame before you talk to him? Do you guys kind of kick it around over the phone? Like, how do you do that? Because you would write your script, but then start putting it together almost like a TV show. Yeah.
Exactly. The best analogy I have is like, you do a script like a movie script. It's sort of the same thing. You have what you see, and then, what people are saying, dialogue or caption boxes, and you have it into panels. It's like moments, like snapshots. So I can like describe something in a scene, in a panel for the artist, but then in a weird way, the artist is the actor portraying it, because they do the facial expressions. They do the whole, like, they bring that kind of mood and color and everything else that, like, acting, on a script page. Maybe someone laughs, deviously, but that's like whatever. But seeing an artist bring it to life, that's the beauty of comics. It's like you're acting, you're directing, you're sort of like you're doing the whole thing. So in comics, the artist really is the kind of the star, whereas I'm just the pulp hack writing the word. I mean, I come up with it, but it's also, it is like a nice balance, and it is fun. I mean, it is like the most gratifying on a way, because it's like I'll write a script, and then within a few days you start seeing art in your email box. It's like, oh my goodness, this is great, this is real. Whereas a book, it takes forever. I mean, a book is like, a book of mine for years, and at some point it'll come out. Maybe down the line it'll come out if you're lucky. But a comic is like instant gratification. So I do love it for that reason.
That is cool. So while you're still working, or do things just kind of filter in? Like, do you send them a chapter, or how does that work?
I do. Usually, like, I know with this one, Dead Flowers, I was doing it in batches. Like, okay, here's like 20 pages at a time, or 25 pages, like in chunks, to like sort of, I think that's how I did it. Usually though, it's by issue. And that can be problematic. And like sometimes, back in my early days, I was doing stuff for Marvel and DC, and you have to write sometimes out of order because a certain artist is available at a certain time. So you're kind of jumping around in time. So like, oh, I'll do issue 5 before issue 4 because the artist for 5 is available. And that's sort of the reality of things. It's almost like shooting a film out of sequence. That happens sometimes. And that can be like a little trippy, a little weird. I do like writing in sequence.
Yes, I think that would help too, because sometimes, you can make an outline and outline it to death, and then as you're writing it, characters start doing things. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, always. It's always, you have that regret, like, oh man, I should have done that back then. So it's nice to, in this case, this graphic novel, I could go back in time and change things, which is nice. Without having, the Andrea rip up too much. So that was a good thing. Yeah.
No, that's really cool. So what are you working on now? Anything we should start planning for?
Yeah, what can I talk about? I should have this off the top of my head. It's like things I can't talk about, but one thing I have been working on is an adaptation of California Bear.
Yes,
my most recent crime novel, which you go graciously you did a Q&A with me back at Poison Pen about almost a little over 2 years ago now, which is weird. It was 2 years ago.
I know. What is time?
What is time? Exactly. But I working with a great co-writer, Gary Lennon, who is known in the TV space for shows like Euphoria, Orange is the New Black, Justified, speaking of Elmer Leonard, and like he worked with Elmer Leonard, which makes him cool in my book. So we turned in a revise to the studio, waiting to hear back, and fingers crossed that, it goes. We'll see. That's Hollywood. I've been working on, I can't really talk about things, but it's also like,
you're fine.
More out of like, not to jinx them for myself, like,
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Like, I was working on a book proposal and I kept just telling everybody it's about film. And then maybe like the 5 people I needed advice from, it's a film book. And
exactly.
then you kind of, like I'm writing something. I just finished a little article for Ebert. So I was just telling most people, except a couple of friends, like, it's just going to be an article on an actress.
Exactly.
Wait till you're done. Yes.
I mean, I'm believing, I think it was maybe Stephen King said this, like when you kind of discuss an idea too much, it's like, it's the air of the balloon. It's like, almost like, you save the telling of it for the page. Don't tell your friends in the bar, because I can they'll talk it out and it's like, oh, why am I doing this? I'm a believer in that. So I do keep things under wraps just because, also things change, but once they're done, it's like you're really eager to like, oh, we read this, and that's exciting. But in the meantime, I have a few things brewing that I'm excited about, and they're sort of, I'm obsessing over, but I want to let the air out of the balloon.
No, you're fine. I'm excited to read them. What is your writing schedule like?
Oh, I mean, now, I used to my early career, like, I had a full-time job, so I write at night and never slept. Thankfully now that I'm in my dotage, I'm older now, I can actually spend my days, I usually kind of roughly like 9 to 5-ish.
Oh,
I mean, it spills over, but like my ideal day, I don't ever always do this, but like I get up, I go for a long walk that clears the mental cobwebs. Yeah. Walks are great. I can walk around and, see people and not feel like I'm trapped in my room, but then I come back.
It's important.
Yeah. People are important. I mean, like seeing humanity, and seeing dogs and seeing everything else. So ideal day is I do that, go for a long walk. I try to go for a 4 or 5 mile walk just to, not die at a young age, and then come back and I write, and sometimes there's, by meetings or phone calls, and that happens, but I try to carve out these like, chunks of time in the day. And I'm in goblin mode often. I mean, I don't, it's like, I'm not going anywhere. It's like, okay, why dress right now? I'm just going to wear my white sweatshirt, and whatever else.
Yes, right? I do that. I met the new neighbors a couple months ago. This was hilarious. I was in like pajama pants and a nice top because I had a meeting. And so I went outside and I'm like in these flannel things and like a really dressy top. And she was kind of looking at me like, I just went, oh, I'm a writer. Like that explains anything.
Exactly. that Zoom era thing of like the nice top and the like whatever, below.
That's basically it. Yeah, exactly. Otherwise we are Grady Tripp and Wonder Boys. I like a good robe. Yes.
Exactly. But I mean, I try to keep in mind too, is like, you're supposed to live as well. Like writers need to live and like see people and do things. So
what are you writing about? Yeah.
I'm always trying to achieve the balance, going to see the movie you want to see, go to the art exhibit, and again, in my older age, I really am fond of walking tours and book lectures, which is like, okay.
I love it. Yeah.
All right, grandpa, but that's okay. I don't mind being grandpa. It's cool.
Yes.
So that's my days.
I
respect.
know we have bonded over our love of like art museums and lectures and things. So I
Yes.
don't know, we're in our cerebral old age. I don't know what you want to say about us, but we're doing, you absorb all this knowledge. You're not sure how you're going to use it, but it all
Oh,
comes up on the page.
absolutely. Actually, I would say it's the opposite of old age. Honestly, I'm being self-deprecating, but it is the opposite. I think,
Yeah.
I'm a proud by myself is that I'm still a curious child at heart. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
want to know
love to
everything.
learn.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not just because I want to keep my mind active.
No.
I'm rapidly curious about everything, and I want to go see all the things all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yes, I think that's hope for us, Jen.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing great.
We're doing great.
Just ask us. No.
Right. Right.
Yes. Well, for John Carpenter here, we chose
Yes.
3 that kind of inspired or influenced Dead Flowers a little bit.
Yes.
So you mentioned The Fog, which was 1980, then Prince of Darkness, and then In the Mouth of Madness, which like I said, got a little bit confused thinking it was the dark half with Timothy Hutton. I just remembered like a writer or something going on.
Right. Right.
Yes, and like one was King and one was like Stephen King, and
It can be confusing. Yes, exactly.
yeah, exactly. So, without further ado, The Fog, which
Yeah.
I thought was really beautifully shot.
Oh,
Oh
beautiful.
my gosh. Like, my friend Sean Burns will say things like this, like, we used to have color, because
Right.
everything is so green and like gray
Sure.
and
Absolutely. A good
it's
point.
very regal and elegant, and there's like sweeping shots on the at first I thought it was the East Coast, then I'm like, oh, this is California.
Yeah.
And when she's like coming down the steps
A
by
lighthouse.
the sea, yes, and you're just thinking about like The Ghost and Mrs. Muir and like some of these
Hmm.
older movies,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, so it was a beautiful film. I kind of had to like back it up because
Hmm.
I got a little confused, which I guess is something that Carpenter talked about. Like he had to go and reshoot and put it together to try to make it make sense more, because it was
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
wait, where did that happen? Yes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, actually a
Yeah.
lot of story behind it. You have to sort of dole out in a fun
Yeah.
way. I mean,
Hmm.
it's almost like, but back to the beautiful look of it, you can actually almost watch it with no sound because you can enjoy it as a series of like incredible images. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
But you need the sound to understand the story and why this matters. You're right. I think I read the same thing. Maybe you read that it's like he also went back, makes a little more sense of it, but also actually a little more gore, a little more like
Yes.
action, because back, it was 1980 and like, we're into the era of Friday the 13th and like, a lot of the other, which really is genre he kind of started with Halloween.
Yeah.
So it's like you're responding to that need for that, the gore or the visual, or the menace, the violence. So that makes sense. I meant before, when I was a kid, it seemed so slow because I was used to like, Freddy and
Yeah.
Jason movies being, wisecracks and machete blows. And this is not that. This is
Mhm.
atmospheric. And it's, to me, what appeals to me about it now is like, it's a great example of a story where history comes back to really mess with you,
Mhm.
and you can try to pave it over and ignore it, but it doesn't forget. And that's kind of a powerful thing.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I think again is something when you're watching it today and you're thinking of, president trying to get rid of past presidents' history on
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
slave owning. It's just like, well, this kind of ties in.
Exactly. Literally, like, just last month in my hometown of Philadelphia, they had a whole display of the George Washington's house
Yeah,
with the slavery panels, the history, and, the administration took them down. And he was like, oh, hell no,
yeah,
and as of this week, they're back up. This is great. I
yeah.
mean, you have to
You
fight
have to know.
for
Yeah,
history. Yeah. I mean, people need to
yeah.
know history. Otherwise you're doomed to, live in a John Carpenter film and repeat it.
Yes.
So, um,
Exactly.
and it's funny, what struck me too is I realized watching these 3 movies is that, religion is a huge part, which I kind of dawned
Yes.
on me, like in a big way, like, wow, the through line is big here.
I was born Catholic,
Yeah,
and
same here.
yeah, I'm not super religious, but yes, watching
Same.
these, I was thinking, wow, they go through all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is interesting. I mean, I don't know, John's background in that way, but I mean, as a former Catholic schoolboy, that's pretty resonant.
yeah,
And, Father Malone in The Fog, he's interesting. He's like, he's kind of a
yeah,
good guy trying to grapple with history. And that's
yeah,
not trying to cover it up, not trying to
Sort of like in Prince of Darkness when it's like, you got a priest even admitting what the Vatican did. And,
refreshing.
These are really interesting characters, I think.
Yeah.
And I love seeing Jamie Lee, of course. Yes.
And her mom is in the movie. This is great.
Yes,
Yeah, it's awesome.
yes.
Janet Leigh. Yeah, I do love the kind of like the John Carpenter repertory players. Like he'll use, a lot of the actors over and over, and just people he likes working with. And that makes sense. I mean, but what a cast.
Yeah.
Exactly. Barbeau, Tom Atkins, he also, he comes back in Halloween 3. It's just, again, Jamie Lee, of course. What a great cast. Hal Holbrook is awesome. I mean, down to every person is interesting and memorable. And every character, I've noticed this to me, is like they feel lived in. They don't feel like they're just like there to speak a few lines and get killed. They're like, they have real lives. They have these, messy edges. I think a lot of those movies have that, like that ensemble effect. Like The Thing is a great ensemble movie, a bunch of real guys who are real stir crazy, and, these are people who are, again, they have bills to pay. They have kids to look after. And that comes across just like in a Stephen King book, I think it's grounded in a way that appeals to people, at least to me.
Yeah, it was co-written by Deborah Hill.
Yes.
Who people who've listened to the podcast remember Courtney Howard, who's a good friend of, I don't know if you know Courtney.
Of her, yeah.
Yeah, she used to work that's where she met her husband.
Oh, wow.
They were working for Deborah Hill.
That's so cool.
And she, kind of ushered him after Assault on Precinct 13, and this is another, into the era of more commercial success, pretty much. So I think it was supposed to come out in 79, I read, and then they moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I thought this was, it's kind of a regal, old-fashioned ghost story. But yes, there are some gory moments that scare the hell out of you.
Yeah.
I like the idea of, you've got the cool, sexy DJ, which was kind of like the era, because you think of Play Misty for Me and a couple other things from the 70s. But,
yes.
Yeah.
What's funny is, and actually, on that note, like, it is like there's some gore, but also Carpenter is a master of the jump scare. And it works on me over and over again. I've seen movies a lot of times and it still works because he does surprise you. And I remember,
like when the guy's going to the door. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Or even like the Misdirect. There's one moment where, Tom Atkins and Jamie Lee Curtis were like, you think the jump scares be one place and then somewhere else all of a sudden.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
Right? Like, he's so great at it. I remember early on, I knew the Carpenters. When I first met them, I actually at one point pitched them on something. I pitched them on a TV idea I had, and I kind of was in my I foolishly said, well, just give it a few jump scares here and there. And John looked at me like, oh, you think jump scares are easy, huh? I'm like, well, no, sir, but I was really, they're so hard. They're so hard to pull off,
Yeah.
Especially as viewers. I mean, modern viewers have seen everything, every trope, every jump scare.
I know.
Trying to reinvent it for the modern audience. And the fact that you can do this movie is now, 45 years old, 46 years old?
Yes.
And they still work. They worked on me, at least.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I jumped. So.
Yeah. It has a cult following.
Yeah.
And yes, when I was watching it, speaking of jump scares, I was thinking, boy, this would go really well with What Lies Beneath, Zemeckis, which I love that movie. And
Great
that
movie.
has a million jump scares in it too. But they're both kind of these elegant, sort of pulling from the past. Like you could imagine both of these in the 50s, essentially. I mean, without the gore. Yeah. But
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, you can't talk about these without saying the music.
Oh, yes.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the next one, the music in Prince of Darkness, was really great. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, it's music is like, it's one of the secret sauce of John Carpenter movies, because he does most, if not all, the soundtracks himself. And I actually, all the time, I write to his music because he released a bunch of albums over the years where he redoes some of these songs. He has actually a bunch of albums where they're new material, just new instrumentals. And that's sort of his he's kind of a rock star now, which you're aware of that. I mean, he does concerts and people just flock to them, and, it's kind of incredible. They're great music. I love writing to music without words and lyrics because it's not distracting.
Yes.
So, and Carpenter is perfect for evoking a mood. And that's what it does. Like, people joke about it. It's like, imagine watching Halloween without that soundtrack. It isn't the same thing. Like, it really is. Like, that propulsive, repetitive soundtrack is like, damn, that puts you there. And same here. Same with most of his movies. They really are, that's again, the secret sauce to me of why they're so effective.
I know. It reminds me too of like use of synthesizer with the Friedkin. They
Yes.
cited when I was watching something where they were talking to Carpenter, he was citing, yeah, Exorcist and then also
Sorcerer.
thank you. That is
Yes,
the title that always flies out of my head
I get it.
because it doesn't, yes.
It makes no
So
sense. Yeah, yeah.
Sorcerer,
Oh my
yes.
God. And that's so Exorcist was, Mike Oldfield, Tubular
Yeah.
Bells, a brilliant soundtrack. Now, Sorcerer was Tangerine Dream, which is one of my
Yeah.
favorites. That I love. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they've done so many brilliant soundtracks, like Near Dark and, Miracle Mile. I mean, to me, are like that quintessential 80s soundtrack sound. That just,
Yeah.
yeah, it puts me back in the theater
And
when I listen to them.
also, I know Argento was a big influence on
Oh
him,
God,
like
yes.
Suspiria, and yeah,
And like in Goblin, that almost the house band of the Argento movies. Goblin's amazing. And so yeah,
yeah,
I have half my music collection is like those kind of like sort of horror, prog rock, soundtracks. Um,
yeah. Did you
yeah.
ever learn any of those? Because if
Oh
people
yeah.
may be unaware that Duane grew up and he played in bar bands. Yes.
I did, and I would try to sneak in the Halloween theme, but my dad did not appreciate that, I think. So no,
Yeah.
I love, for fun, I do have, I retired from music, a long time ago because, even bar bands, age of a bar band. But I have a keyboard that I bought during COVID because I just missed playing, and I will just
Yeah.
sit there and like noodle around with like fake soundtracks, because it's just fun. It's
Was
really
it
fun to
like
like,
riding a bike again? Did you just immediately?
yeah, you know what? It's really funny because the muscle memory in your hand, it just comes back to you. You think I'll be rusty. I'm rusty. Don't get me wrong, but not as rusty as I thought I'd be. It comes
That's
back to
cool.
you. The chord changes and like, you play as well? You play
I haven't played in decades, but yeah,
piano, right? You play, yeah,
yes, I
that's
play
right. I remember
piano,
that.
a little bit of viola, but yeah, mostly piano.
Yeah, it comes back to you. It really does.
Mhm.
And I forgot how just relaxing it is because I'm not using the writer part of my brain. I'm just using like, whatever other part of my
Yeah.
brain does that. And it's fun.
Yeah, it's good to fire those neurons that don't get used because we're
Yeah,
taxing them all the time coming up with these ideas. Yes.
absolutely. So yeah, the
Yeah.
soundtrack, it's a beautiful movie. I've heard people ding it for being a little slow or a lot of,
It is a little
well,
bit slower
both
comparatively,
compared. Yeah,
but
right. But it also is like, there's a lot of different characters and they and then people complain it's too like
yeah.
back and forth. But I don't know. To me, it's beautiful. I saw it
Yeah.
again at the Alamo a bunch of years ago and seeing the packed house in a dark theater is like, that's the way to see it.
Yeah, it's quick and dirty. It's like
Yeah.
89 minutes, which is something he does extremely well.
Oh
Gets in,
yeah.
gets out. Yes.
It doesn't waste your time ever. Never,
No,
never.
not at all.
It's great.
Yeah, and we really see that in the next one,
Yes.
Prince of Darkness. That one got a little okay.
Hmm.
Well, the one I didn't love was In the Mouth of Madness, but Prince of Darkness, some of the gore, I had to look away.
Oh,
But as far as the film and like I really liked that one. It kind of reminded me
good.
again of The Thing and sort of these guys on a mission, or it felt like,
Yes.
oh, he's making a Western. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's almost a siege movie kind of thing. You're being
Yeah.
under attack by forces outside the church and then
Yes.
forces inside the church. I mean, and forget 100-year-old ghost story. This is like goes back
Oh my gosh,
centuries. This is
thousands of
right,
years.
thousands of years, the eons, and it's like that's old school history catching up with us, and it's almost,
Yeah.
almost. It's funny. It is rooted in Catholicism, sort of, and then it becomes clear that maybe not. It's even older than Catholicism, perhaps. That's the idea of it, anyway.
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
Catholicism was the new spin on it, but yeah, I mean, to those who haven't watched it, basically it's about a priest hires a quantum physicist and his team to figure out what this giant canister of green goo is.
Yeah.
They remember it's
Big
Satan,
cylinder.
right?
Yeah.
And it's creepy looking and it holds up.
Yeah. It was in the monastery. They don't know what's going on. What is it? I
Right.
say leave that shit alone, but yes.
Yes. I mean,
I
that's
know.
if you mess with
Like,
history,
don't
it'll
go
mess
in the
back.
basement. It's a horror thing. Like, why are we going into the goo, you guys? Don't go into the strange planet. Yes.
Every time I hear a real news story about like, someone's thawed out an ancient worm that hasn't seen like,
Yeah, you're like, no.
how about we hang off on that one? Because maybe it was
Yeah.
frozen for a reason. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But no, it is like a Western. It is a horror story. It's a religious story. And it's also a group of characters who are, again, feel very grounded and lived in, trying to figure
Mhm.
stuff out. They disagree all the time on things and they're trying to figure out what's going on. I love Alice Cooper as, the menacing, dude outside and this, and
Alice Cooper, who
oh,
I saw
oof.
in the elevator at the ballet of all places. Like,
Wow.
everybody has at least one or two run-ins with Alice here in
Sure.
Scottsdale, Phoenix, but it
That's
was the
right.
most
That's right.
hilarious place. It's like I am with Alice Cooper in an elevator and his lovely wife at the ballet. It's just so
That
random.
is so cool.
Yes.
That is great.
Yeah.
But again, a great cast. Donald Pleasance, he's back, again, he has a lot of his players return in these movies. What else?
This is
yeah,
a
the
weird
history.
assemblage of characters, I will
Oh, it
say.
really is.
They're all very strange.
Yes.
Victor
Yes.
Wong is, the professor. We have the two lovers. I didn't like either of them really.
No.
They were very bizarre. Like he was
Yeah.
almost aggressive and
Hmm.
just like comes on right away and like, okay, they're a couple now.
You kind of see
It's a
that.
little creepy.
Yeah.
So I will have
Yes.
to say, like, the characters weren't my favorite, but watching them
I hear that.
together and interacting, you sort of get, okay, these are a little bit,
Yeah.
misfits. Essentially, these are scientists. They're missing a couple of the nicety
Right.
buttons, and yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're eccentric people. I guess I like the clash between religion and science. It's like they're
Yes.
mostly polar opposites. It's like, okay, here's this
Mhm.
mystical ancient text. It's like, well, here's my scientific year. It says your religion is bullshit. Here we go. Let's figure this out, what this actually is. And it's funny
Yeah.
how the interplay is pretty fascinating.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he even talks about, the Bible as advertising essentially in a PR campaign. And
Right.
yeah, so it gets really into it. It's cool to see Donald Pleasance
Oh yeah.
as the priest. I mean, yeah, you just kind of see we just had Hal Holbrook and then we have Pleasance. So we've got our priests. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what influence on Dead Flowers was the idea of, like we just mentioned before, was like, don't go poking around history too much. Because once,
No.
it was inspired by the idea of, like, I would do a lot of true crime tours. I go on really great true crime tours run by, great people. I thought, what if it goes wrong? Like, what if, like,
Mhm.
in a true crime tour, someone has a vested interest in how a story is told or how it plays out? And I sort of, like, again, you're messing with the past, and that can have horrific consequences in the
Yes.
present. So that really kind of spoke to me in that way. And I love contained. Also, mostly it's set in a church. It's a real
I
church in
know.
LA. I've been
Yeah.
by it often. It's creepy.
Yes. It said, let's see. The monastery, the St. Goddard Monastery, was the Union Center for the Arts in
Yeah,
LA.
it is. Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, he was inspired while researching theoretical physics and atomic theory, sort
Yeah,
of ultimate evil. Here's something that when I was looking it up, I didn't see, and that's one of the things I love about film studies. Everyone's going to watch a different movie,
sure.
because they're going to bring their own thoughts to it and also
Yeah,
think about the time period and what was going on. And so it was John Kenneth Muir who wrote a book on John Carpenter movies.
right.
I want to say like 2015-ish. And he suggests that Prince of Darkness might be a parable for the AIDS epidemic.
Mm-hmm. You can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Demonic possession
right.
is like a communicable disease because people keep getting past
Yeah,
things
that's right.
like fluids, and then references to homosexuality.
Right.
With the Walter character, he even talks about like a scene where someone's trapped inside a closet, and it's just once you read this, you're thinking, "Wow!" I mean, that's a
That's
really
true. You're right.
great
Oh my God. Right. I think that's good.
interpretation. It's kind of like when you read various thoughts on Fatal Attraction, you're like, maybe not. Yes,
Yeah. And the best
yeah,
stories, though, are, I guess, give you lay out a scenario that people can read into, right? And you bring
yes,
yourself to it.
everything.
Whatever jumps out
Yeah,
at you. I mean, for me, I
yeah,
was thinking that, I first watched it back in high school, and I was very much instilled in Catholic high school. So that to me was
yeah.
the priest stuff and religious stuff kind of triggered me, like, oh boy, this is disturbing. What else is the church
Yeah.
hiding? Right? It's like, what else is going on?
Exactly.
You're
Yeah, get into the
questioning.
conspiracy aspect
Yeah,
of it. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, possession is fun, always fun. But really, I mean, one thing that stays with me all these years is that mirror, the mirror
Oh my
effect. I mean, it's the
gosh.
climax,
And
but
that ending. Yes.
oh boy, Carpenter can
Oof.
do an ending. That
Yes.
leaves you floored.
He knows
That's
how
one
to do
movie.
jump scares and endings. Yes.
Endings are beautiful. And that effect holds up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've read a little bit about how he pulled it off, but it's like,
Oh
wow, it
wow.
just looks
Yeah.
otherworldly.
No, it
The
still
whole,
works. Yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes 80s horror and older horror, even
yeah,
90s. Yeah, but no, that was great.
yeah.
Looks like it's part of his Apocalypse trilogy, beginning with The Thing, and
Right.
then concluding with In the Mouth of the Madness,
That's
or In the
right.
Mouth of
Yeah.
Madness.
It's
Yeah.
funny is, yeah, I like that too, the Apocalypse trilogy. Like the thing, I guess, is the end of the world by aliens.
Yes.
In the Mouth, that's right. Prince of Darkness is end of the world by Satan. Cool. And now this is something different though. It's the end of the world by something very different. And that is
Yeah.
Stephen King. Stephen King has doomed us, obviously, in the Mouth of Man. I'm kidding. It's not Stephen King, but it's Sutter Kane, who kind of sounds like Stephen King.
Yes.
And that's how, so you enjoyed this the least of the three, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was an interesting idea,
Mm-hmm.
and certain scenes I really liked, like the whole thing where they're driving at night and they pass the guy on the bike, and the whole bike thing scared the
Yeah,
bejesus out
yeah.
of me. And that was great. I love Sam Neill, of course.
Oh,
Like it had, wonderful actors. But I wasn't as invested or as interested. That started to get really unwieldy.
hmm hmm
So I guess
Yeah.
that's more Lovecraftian, and it's just, gets very
Mhm.
strange. But
Yes.
so yeah, this was probably my least favorite, but it was still,
Oh, yeah.
incredible, watchable, great music, very well made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, I love this when it came out. I saw it, in the 90s, I think in the theater. I was like, okay, wow, someone like doing, as a young horror nerd, especially a
Yeah.
fan of like Stephen King and the horror writers. I'm like, wow, he's like going there and, it's sort of almost, I do love the meta quality of it, the idea that,
Yes.
a book can infect people, and it sort of feels almost quaint these days because who reads anymore?
Yeah.
But it's pretty great. And I will admit, you can't see it. It's only audio podcast, but I have my, Do You Read Sutter Kane t-shirt for this occasion.
Ah, there you go.
And I wear this around LA, and like two people get it. The rest like,
I
who's
was
Sutter
gonna ask.
Kane? Yeah,
Yeah.
almost no one gets it. And I try, it was a movie by John Carpenter, and like, okay, weirdo. And they back away slowly when I explain what it's about. But yeah, the meta quality to me is great, and the humor too is very funny. I mean, there's a moment early on where Sam Neill is in a padded cell, and this is not a spoiler. It's like that's where the movie
Oh,
opens.
yeah, for
But
sure.
they start playing music to calm the inmates, and it's the Carpenters, and he says, "Not the Carpenters." I just think it's a great
Oh,
meta
it's
moment, right?
yeah,
It's just
it's
so
very
funny.
creepy.
There's a lot of funny moments, and I think Sam Neill is hamming it up in places. Even
Oh, he's having fun.
oh
Yeah.
my God, taking shots at Stephen King and that horror crap. I mean, I guess to me, when it came out in '94, I was like,
Yeah, around
God,
there.
22, very much an aspiring writer. I want to be a horror writer. That was like catnip to me. It was like, oh man, this is great. This is wonderful. He's going there, and yeah, it's all the place kind of. I do like how it questions reality at every turn.
Hmm.
Like, and again, to me, the ending is kind of nails it. It really has not that I don't want to
Oh, I
spoil it,
really
but
like the ending. Of
yeah, it
course,
was like,
now it lives on in
oh,
internet infamy. Yes.
yeah, so meta. It's just so great. And the little moments. I mean, I've done Mrs. Pickman, the innkeeper is great. Her Lovecraftian, and for years, I signed at Comic-Con with the Carpenters and Storm King for the various books, and they actually have a cool model of Mrs. Pickman there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the whole thing with her. It's great. It's great seeing people walk up and realize what she is. Like, oh my God, it's wonderful. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a gorehound, but I do love a good monster. There's a lot of kind of fun monsters in here as well. We have creepy children. We have, vicious dogs.
Creepy children is one of my things where it's like, oh, they
Not
get
for
to
you.
me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the most horrifying really to me is like the big scare in this movie for me was the losing your sanity because,
Yeah.
everyone's saying I'm not insane. You're trying to convince someone that you're not insane. Chances are you may be insane. You don't know it. That's the horrifying to me that I would go crazy
Yeah.
someday and be in a situation where I'm convinced I'm totally sane, but obviously I'm not, and something else is going on, and that's
Yeah.
terrifying to me.
And that's kind of what's going on too. You could watch this now and be like, oh, this is every Frida McFadden book, or, we have a whole, or
Yeah,
Alice Feeney, or these ones where it's like, well, you think she's telling the story. She's insane. He's not the
right.
bad guy. It's the brother or whatever. And we jump back
Yes.
and forth, point of view and
Yeah.
insanity and what is really going on. And so, yeah, that's very Sutter Kane a little bit
Oh my
too.
God, yeah. And it's funny is this actually originally was supposed to be directed by someone else. It was written by Mike DeLuca, who now is
Yeah.
at Warner Brothers. He's back. He actually founded New Line Cinema back in the day. He was one of the executives there.
Yeah,
I
produced
didn't
a lot of stuff like
ton
Boogie
of stuff.
Nights and yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, and I think other two directors went through two directors, and then finally, I think John Carpenter had passed on it and then came back to it, which is funny to me because this to me like screams this is a John Carpenter movie, if anything. And it feels like it has all the hallmarks. You know, it kind of thumbs its nose at authority. It's meta. I don't know. It has these great. It felt like a quintessential Carpenter movie to me, and so I was surprised it was not from his brain. Honestly,
Yeah, that's
it felt
true.
very much him. And again, we have church. We have like religious things. We have confessional booths. I mean, all this,
Yep.
Catholic imagery and iconography
Yep.
used with Lovecraftian stuff. That's fascinating. Um,
Yeah, it's all as building blocks that we see. Yes.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, and this one, as far as also it's commenting on celebrity and
yeah.
meta, and yes, and I think the idea that by this point he was aware of some of these things had become cult status a little bit, like Halloween, and so
Oh yeah.
this is a really interesting time in his career to do this for sure.
Absolutely. Oh, speaking of, yeah, I was lucky enough to be at the Carpenter place after signings a couple times, and I on the shelves they have the sort of prop books of the Sutter Kane novels, which
Oh
I
wow.
I covet so much. I would love some Sutter Kane book. If they're blank pages,
Yeah.
if they are, or fake, fake Latin pages or whatever, just to have a Sutter Kane novel, it makes you want to read them. And the whole scene where Sam Neill is like, digging into them and like cutting the covers up and making a little map out of them. One thing I was horrified because do not desecrate the horror paperback. Right.
No, no. It
But
breaks my heart that we're getting rid of those little, pocket
mass
paperbacks.
market,
Yes.
yeah, no one's really talking about it very
No.
much these days. It feels like that's a huge, I grew up reading them.
Oh yeah, they were the
It's
best.
what I could
Like the
afford.
movie tie-in
Oh my
paperbacks and all
goodness.
of that.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's started as a way of like, because, the whole story, hardcovers were expensive. So cheap
Yeah.
paperbacks for a quarter, whatever they were. Um,
Yeah.
I'm in high school. I had usually had roughly had $20 a week disposable income, like from my left over from whatever I was buying.
Mm.
I can always afford a paperback horror novel, a movie ticket, and like maybe something from a fast food place. That was my $20 spent right there. So like I spent years, going to my local indie bookstore. They had one great curated shelf of horror novels.
Mhm.
It was all like, this is like the mid '80s, late '80s. So that was just, prime time for this stuff. And it was back when you can buy a book, for $3 or $4, five even.
Yeah, you really could. And
And it lasted me
yeah.
for the week. Yeah, it was great.
I know you're bringing back memories of like checking out a different Elmore Leonard in high school every weekend. They had the
Yes.
paperbacks in my school library, so I would go through all of them and get
Yeah,
yelled at
yeah.
by my creative writing teacher because I wasn't very ladylike, but I was,
Oh,
augmenting with other stuff. But yeah,
sure. I was
yeah,
notorious for reading like a Stephen King book while hiding under my science textbook in class. I just was like, I don't care about science, so
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I'm
So I
not
guess
going to
this
be a scientist. Yeah.
exactly. But I guess this movie, as far as the sort of the love of reading and paperbacks, like this, that
hmm
idea that a paperback can be a national obsession, it almost it feels quaint. It feels like, oh, I wish, today.
Yes.
Um, there's that funny though, that telling moment where that was the guy says, well, not everyone reads because this thing is spreading, this love,
I
and he says, well,
know, and it's the
but there's a
90s and
movie.
he's saying that. Yes, there's a
It's great.
movie. Yes.
And everyone sees the movie. But then again, maybe not even these days because we're watching so many different things. Viewers, that's the thing. We're not having like the days, as you know, are long gone of like having a national, almost like shared cultural things,
I
like cultural moments.
know. That's why it was so cool when everybody was in a succession at the same
Oh,
time.
yes. Some things break
Yeah.
through. You're right. Some things
Yeah. Or
do.
oh, Breaking Bad and then the one after it, which I liked better. Better
Better
Call
Call
Saul.
Saul. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Brilliant.
those nights were great, or Halt and Catch Fire nights,
Yeah.
but yeah, there aren't too many appointment TV shows anymore.
No, sadly,
Yeah.
no. So of the three, you like The Fog the best, probably, it sounds like? Or,
Yeah, I would say The Fog or Prince of Darkness
mhm.
probably, but I was going to ask you, there were a couple
Yeah.
others that I had not seen. One sounded fascinating. They Live, because it
Oh,
sounded like a Twilight Zone kind of thing.
that's great. Yeah. For
Yeah,
a long time,
there's
that
like
was my
a,
number one favorite. I mean, it still is. It's hard to pick a favorite Carpenter, but it's definitely more science fiction, more Twilight Zone to a degree. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I think it's based or inspired by a 1960s sci-fi story.
Oh, okay.
So, but what Carpenter does, he just runs with it. It's pretty great. So you know very little about it, right? Do you know anything about it?
Something about he puts on sunglasses and it also has to do with fascism because I know I saw an
Yes.
interview where he
Oh
was
yeah.
talking about the bad guys are the bankers and I do know the line about like can two things, kick ass and chew bubble gum, and like I'm all out of bubble gum or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna misquote, but I'm here to do two things: chew bubble gum and kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. So it's Roddy Piper who is brilliant in this.
He loved wrestling, and so I did see a clip where one of the actors was talking about how it was like the longest fight sequence or something, and it just goes on forever.
Roddy Piper and Keith David, oh my God, it's so great. It's so great.
But is it realistic where they're actually getting worn out and tired?
Oh yeah, they're exhausted. They're really kicking each other's asses. It's a real fight. Oh yeah, it's a real fight, and it goes on. It's almost funny after a while. It's like, oh my God, but it hurts. This is not for fun. Yeah. Well, it is for fun, but you know what I mean? It's not fake movie punches. They really feel it. It's not
like Vin Diesel and The Rock needing to get an equal number of hits in. Yeah.
Right. And you talk about Carpenter being like, forecasting, foretelling the future. Like, I, to this day, think if I put on certain glasses, I'll look at, politicians on TV and think, oh, that explains it. Now I know what's going on, It's so ahead of its time.
Yeah, well, you're talking to me on a day where I got these prism glasses that are supposed to help my concussion. And it was so funny. My buddy Sean Burns was like, do they shoot lasers? And I'm like, I wish they shot lasers.
That would be amazing. Yes,
I know. I have the super skill. But
it is funny. I feel like there's the two most prophetic 80s movies are They Live and RoboCop. I feel like we're living in RoboCop times for sure.
We are.
And They Live is like, we're being told this massive lie that, things are great. And that it's like, well, if you look at in a different way through a certain pair of glasses, it's like, oh, we're kind of screwed,
Yeah, you need those rose glasses, I guess.
Yeah, yes. But I recommend if you were watching John Carpenter soon, that one I think you really like.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Anything else we didn't get to with Carpenter, his filmography, or anything that influenced you?
Over the years, Christine was a big deal because it was fun.
I love that one.
It's such a great, and I love the opening sequence, like where Christine's being built and the first killing happens. I really was inspired by an unfilmed Hitchcock moment. Hitchcock wanted to do this thing where you saw a car being built from scratch, and at the very end of the assembly line, a door opens and a body pops out.
That's right.
Remember that? It was an unused idea for something. It was like, wow, what a great opener. What a great opener. It's almost the ultimate locked room mystery, kind of, with a car. Carpenter stuff. I'm trying to think what else I recommend here. They Live, I was going to say to you, They Live is pretty fantastic. Christine, sorry, my mind is just blanking.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm reaching that age, right? And I two other recommendations. Have you seen Big Trouble in Little China?
No, I know Priscilla loves it.
Oh, it's so great. Not a horror movie. It's freaky. It's mystical. It's action. It's like a martial arts movie. It's very San Francisco. It's wonderful. It's funny as hell. It's great. And also that same period, he did a few years before Starman, which I loved even as a kid.
That was so good. I saw that, I want to say like a year or two ago for the first time on Criterion Channel. I will say the baby, when I was watching clips today, there was a horror director lady and she was like, isn't that the creepiest damn baby? It really is. So there is a creepy where he's becoming the guy.
Yeah.
And it's very Carpenter. She's like, he's trying to be sweet, but even he can't get away from it because I guess after The Thing came out, it was a bomb, a disaster.
Yeah.
And it was the same time as E.T., which was like the biggest movie of all time. And so he made a sweet, and it is a sweet movie. I think it was Ebert was comparing it to It Happened One Night, or maybe it was Vincent Canby.
Oh, okay.
Which you can see
that. Totally. Yeah. Remember, it inspired even a short-lived TV show.
Oh, did it?
Back in the, I think, late 80s. It was, basically, it was the guy comes back, the alien. It's not Jeff Bridges. It's, actually who plays him? Another sort of character actor, but he's raising his son on Earth, and they go off and have adventures. I remember watching as I saw the movie when I was, I don't know, when it came out, I was like 12, 13, and then I liked it a lot. Even had kissing in it. I was like, fine, I'll deal with the kissing. And then later it was like, this TV show, it was kind of a really sweet father and son show. I don't think it lasted more than a season or two, if that. But it was good. Yeah. So, Carpenter's tagged as being a horror guy, but he has his range. He has, he loves genre stuff, obviously. That's his thing. But he kind of covers all kinds of genres. Escape from LA is a my not guilty pleasure, but it's like it's funny. It's just very funny.
I have not seen it since the theater, and when
Yeah,
we saw it, because I took my brother, I was working at the theater, so it was free.
right.
We we had no idea what the first one, like anything about it. So
Yes,
I couldn't tell you what happened in that movie, but I do want to watch it again because obviously I love Kurt
yes,
and Carpenter. I
yeah.
really loved the first one when I saw it, but yes.
And one of those things where, back in, I watched it too, that when it came out, and I was, wow, that can never happen in America, ultra religious right wing president,
Yeah.
curtailing freedoms, building giant prisons to imprison. It's like, oh, we're living in Carpenter country. That's what I call it. It's like, we live in Carpenter country.
Yeah.
It really is like not as far fetched as it may have seemed in 96, even
That's
though
a
it's based
good,
on, yeah, right? I mean,
yeah.
it really is like, oh, wow, okay, kind of this weird evangelical, nightmare scenario.
Yeah, and what's great about using genre is, it'd be really heavy-handed otherwise if you made this like the
Oh,
movie
yeah.
Failsafe essentially is nobody remembers that as much as they remember Doctor Strangelove,
Strangelove, yes.
even though Failsafe is a good film, but it's like you can use other ways to say the same thing and have it be more effective. And I think that's what sci-fi does all the time, and that's what Carpenter does, like with some of these like they live in the fascism and then different things he's getting across. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about his work, one through line for a lot of it is like this distrust, this healthy distrust of
Yes.
authority, of like this,
Mhm.
again, of fascism, of whatever else. Whoever's trying to control you is probably a jerk, probably an asshole, and it
Yes.
needs to be fought, and they should be resisted.
Yeah. The other thing I've always admired about his movies, and he said that was probably from growing up in the Jim Crow South because
Mhm.
he was born in New York and then lived in, I want to say, was it Kentucky or one
Kentucky,
of,
right? That's
yes,
right.
is, like Assault and Precinct 13. You have diversity, you have black
Yeah,
actors and white, and like it doesn't make a thing about it.
exactly. Yes, he's always had that.
And
Exactly.
it's just
Yeah.
kind of like around the same time Alien, which was one of the same writers he had worked with,
Oh, that's right.
worked on
Dan
Alien.
O'Bannon, right?
Yes. And so just how you can use genre movies to kind of, show everybody is equal. Yeah.
Absolutely. Carpenter came out of the counterculture era. He was, again, that generation of filmmakers, and the path he chose was more genre, than some others, but it was the same concerns, the same concern for, equality and like, showing the real deal.
Yeah.
That's what it never feels like. I never feel like I'm watching like, well, I mean, there's some exceptions, like Escape from LA. It's a parody of like LA, which I love. It deserves that skill ring. But like, then it feels like, man, I'm always impressed by how his characters feel blue collar and feel like they're real, a
hmm
lot of flaws and, kind of messed up and not perfect. Um, that speaks to me. That's what I look for in books
Yeah.
too. So,
Yeah. I remember that speaking to me in Christine when I saw that
oh
originally there.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I lived for a while in Monrovia, California, and a few things were shot. Christine was filmed there, a few places. I'm always looking for like film locations, so that was kind of cool. And Carpenter's great for LA locations. You really can have fun. Nearby here in like South Pasadena, of course, is Halloweenville. It's like the fictional version of it's the way they shot the Halloween house, like the famous hedge where Michael Myers peeks out from. It's all here in sunny California, not Haddonfield. Where's the movie? Haddonfield is supposed to be Illinois. I kind of forget now. It's Midwest somewhere, right? In the original
hmm
Halloween. Okay, I can't
I
remember,
think
but
so. Yeah.
they had a sort of. I guess I've heard that if you squint, you can see some palm trees here and there, but I'll choose not to believe that.
Yeah. No. What was I going to say? So Dead Flowers is out right now.
Yes, yes.
Now, if you were going to take one of these movies, one of these
Mhm.
Carpenter movies, and turn it into a graphic novel or spin off a character and make a
Oh.
new, what do you think you would go with?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm not prepared for it. Hold on. No,
I'm putting them on the
no,
spot.
no. That is a great question. I love that question. Which one would I want to like? Because some of the again, the ending is so perfect. It's like I wouldn't want to mess with that ending.
Yeah.
What lends itself to, it's a shame there haven't been any Halloween sequels. I mean, I'm kidding. No, I don't know. I mean, that's all. Dude, that's a great question. I want to say they've been trying to make for years a third escape movie. I know. And I
Okay.
forget, I forget
Ooh, that would be
yeah,
kind of a fun one.
yeah,
Yeah.
although, then
Escape
there's,
from Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. I forget what it's supposed to be, Escape from Earth. Oh, it was not a big idea. It was a bigger
Okay.
thing. Boy, that it is a great. I mean, I
And you
always.
could definitely pull from all these different characters you love too. I could see you spinning off
Oh
one of the
yeah.
priests or something into a whole
Oh,
new
absolutely.
adventure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great question. It's funny. The Storm King did do a graphic novel adaptation of not a Carpenter movie. They did a recent one with George Romero's kind of a what was it? Oh God, the amusement park. Remember, it was like
Okay.
sort of it was re-released. It was basically a hour-long,
Yeah.
parable that I saw it. I did this went to a screening of it at Vidiots in Eagle Rock nearby, and they did an adaptation of it. Ryan Carr is an artist, great artist, like did this great Romero adaptation. So they do adaptations. I don't think they've done one of Carpenter's work yet, but
Okay.
I just whiffed that question. Sorry. I don't have a great answer for you because I feel like
No, you're
I'm
fine.
pretty respectful of like, I don't want to ever step on someone's
Yes.
like, I mean, it's like when the ending has been perfect. So why don't I want to go back there and dig
Yeah.
around? The closest I want to, I mean, to me, to use that phrase the kids use is like John Carpenter is a vibe. Like I want to like, and the whole point of like these graphic novels, I was always approaching it as like, okay, imagine this is a John Carpenter movie. And what does
hmm
that mean? And how do you approach it? And so that's always in my head. I mean, for a long time, I thought I actually had the working title for Dead Flowers was John Carpenter's Aztec Motel. So it was like, I always imagined his vibe to something, on his take on the world. Again, messing with history, weird bit of religion in there. Something coming back to bite you in the ass. A group of people under siege in a tight location they can't get out of easily. That always like, to me, are the hallmarks of, a lot of my favorite films of his. So that's what I would do, honestly. I would just keep trying to tell, tales in Carpenter country because that's the
There you
country we're living
go.
in. So, yeah.
So what is Swierczynski style? Can I ask that?
Oh,
Do you have
geez.
like, is there anything you've noticed you kind of go back to, like any mistrust of authority? Do you have you do have a lot of very smart girls solving
Yeah,
crimes, anything that you find you do a lot. Sometimes you don't
yeah,
even know. Like I used to when people would read my work, they're like, "Boy, you hate doctors, don't you?" And because they were always finding like, oh, he
sure.
is the villain, isn't he? And I was having spine surgeries and stuff. But
Yeah.
is there
No,
anything any kind of plots you love to play with,
oh,
or
absolutely. Like, I mean, for me, the last couple books have been about history coming back to haunt you. I mean,
yeah,
Revolver is about, a crime in the 60s that kind of reverberates through time. I love the idea of
yeah,
like time. I mean, California Bear is about, again, sort of a retired, serial killer. Like, I love the idea of like what happens next after all the headlines die down, and
hmm
the cameras fade away. That's an obsession for sure. I've been accused of throwing in my earlier books, I've been accused of throwing a lot of characters through glass. That's a big thing with
okay,
me. I didn't realize I did that. I did it all the
yeah.
time. I know of sort of crutches I know I use all the time. That's one of them. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm the last person to ask about what I do. I mean, because it's like I
I
kind of just
know.
right. It's like weird. I don't really
Yeah, when people used to ask me for a movie recommendation, and be like, "What's a movie?" And that's what I
right
do. Like,
right.
yeah, it's putting you on the spot, but
No,
you
not at
zip
all.
it.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, actually, of you, is it? Do you actually see that? Depending on the time of the year, you have
yeah.
different responses to things. Like certain kinds of movies appeal to me certain times of the year or certain
Oh,
parts of
for
my
sure.
life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm in a horror mood. Sometimes I mean, I've just really, if I mentioned Twin Peaks, been in a Twin Peaks mood lately because it was Lynch's birthday,
Yeah.
and his death anniversary, sadly. I was back in Philly. I kind of saw his former homes. I went to an Eraserhead screening, so I was very much in Lynch mode. And yeah, I mean, it's like that's one thing I can mention actually. I do a column for Bare Bones magazine. It's a quarterly, pop culture
Okay.
quarterly, and I do a thing called the Field Guide to LA Pulp. It's where I take a writer I love and try to find out where they wrote, they lived, they played, they
Ooh, yeah.
died, wherever. And I did a column. This new one, this issue just came out. It's on David Lynch, both his places in Philly and his places here in LA, and
Mhm.
very much a personal like just. If I approach it as if I'm going to say you come to town, I give you a personal tour of my favorite writers' places. The piece is my tour. Basically, what I would do is like walk you around. Here's location one. Here's where they had
Mhm.
dinner, and that to me is my hobby. It started during COVID. I was working on something about the original writer of Scarface.
Oh, okay.
Armitage Trail was his pen name, but he died young, and I wanted to find his grave. He was allegedly at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, so I went on a quest during COVID. Cemeteries were actually the best place to go during COVID because there's no chance you would hurt anybody. You're outside, you're looking at tombstones. And that started my obsession with, tracking down locations and writing about them as a mini tour.
It's interesting. This all comes back to Carpenter. You mentioned the screenwriter of Scarface, because hello, Howard Hawks' Scarface was a really big formative movie for John Carpenter. So
of course.
Look at that. You're like, I was planning it.
I wish I were that smart, Jen. I wish.
No, but you got there.
I get there, exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you so much for doing this. No matter what you dig into next, whatever film thing, just hit me up and we will have to do this again. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Had a blast. Thank you so much, Jen.
I do want to say, as we're recording this, it is almost Duane's birthday, so wish him a happy birthday.
Thank you so much. My goodness. At my age, what is time? What are years? I don't know. But thank you.
Of course. I also want to thank everyone for listening, especially my patrons who support the show and help fund my research, equipment, film rentals, RSS fees, and more for as little as $1 per month at the Film Intuition Patreon, which is the home base for the show. Other ways you can support the podcast are by sharing, reviewing, and subscribing to Watch with Jen wherever you get your podcasts, and also checking out the cool merch store hosted and created by our talented logo designer, Kate Gabrielle. You can find the merchandise store, including shirts, tote bags, stickers, and more by visiting filmintuition.com and clicking on the shop link. The show's theme music is solo acoustic guitar by Jason Shaw and is available in the free music archive. Well, until next time, please take care and happy movie watching. This is Jen Johans at filmintuition.com and Film Intuition on social media and Letterboxd. And this is Watch with Jen.